guys, welcome back to the Idiot Side Quest. I'm Leah.
I'm Leah. That's Brandon.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm obnoxious as fuck 24/7. Yeet, howdy.
That's me.
Uh-oh, stinky.
Uh-oh, stinky. Oh, no. Already causing problems. Look at me go. Just kidding. I'm perfect.
Okay, so anyways, welcome back to the Idiot Side Quest. This week, we're kind of just gonna be going. Like, I guess we're gonna kind of talk about some weird shit.
This is the true side quest here. We have no plans.
Oh, God.
It's off the rails. Before you know it, we're gonna be watching Shrek together.
No, we're not gonna watch Shrek. And I have some plans. You just never listen to me when I tell you to make plans. It's infuriating. But so yeah, I guess we're gonna talk a little bit about weird stuff that we did as kids, and then like when we just run out of that, I guess we're just gonna shoot the shit.
I have a statement to make for the YouTube community if anyone's watching the video. Is it just me? Do I look like hella baked right now? I'm sorry, I couldn't help but notice. I was like, wow, do I look like Hannibal Buress right now in the Eric Andre show? I am so happy that I got you into the Eric Andre show, but at the same time, I'm not happy about it at all. It's only synergized with my own chaotic energy. Bitch, you gave me shit about watching the Eric Andre show. I need audio recorded proof, or else it's not true. I probably have it in a text message. I actually probably do. Hold up. I'm gonna go on a side quest really quickly. Oh, it's just like the Witcher episode where we went on a side quest for about 40 minutes, and I'm pretty certain it got cut out. It was 20-ish minutes, and yeah, it was cut out. You should have just left it in chunks of just like groaning and like weird audio clips coming out of the television. I was going to, but then I was like, fuck. It just didn't have the payoff I wanted it to, you know? But I'm gonna cut this out. What is my contact name in your phone? Your contact name is Concert Brandon. Because we met at a concert like 8 years ago. I'm still in Aaron's phone too as Kovu from like high school. Because I used to love The Lion King. I still love The Lion King. Maybe someday I'll change your contact name, but I just probably won't. Podcast Brandon. No. Useless Brandon. Maybe. Unprepared Brandon. Definitely. Oh, we have one Eric Andre reference, but it's the, meme of Let Me In, but it's the Inuyasha one, where it's like, Kagome! Inuyasha! Kagome! And then you replied you never watched it. So there's one proof. Fuck. I'm done. I give up. This was pointless. And I hate myself. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. After that commercial break. I'd like to thank our sponsor. Me. Jesus. I know the text conversation exists, but I just got tired of scrolling and I don't want to do it anymore. So, I guess I never wanted to do it, and thus I didn't. Yeah. You got a point. I don't know why whenever I wear this blanket when we're filming, somehow the blanket hairs get in my mouth. Do you have that problem when you wear this blanket? I don't wear that blanket, and yet it still covers my pants. Cool. Alrighty, well, I guess I got some weird shit from when I was a kid. I'm sure that Brandon will think of and chime in with some stories as we go along. Maybe. The first memory I can ever remember is one of two memories. One, I was in the backseat of a car as we were moving into Silver City, New Mexico. And I just remember staring up at the trees passing by the window. And then the other memory I have, I think it's from then, maybe beforehand, but I crushed my fingers in a door. Oh, I've done that. Yeah, I lost a fingernail. It was nasty. I don't remember. I just remember it hurts. Also, I think I pulled a curling iron off the counter and slapped myself with it. What the hell? How? I don't know. I was like 1, 2. How do you remember that? Because it was painful. Like I don't remember anything around those events. I just remember the split 5-second flashes of when it happened. Ah! Okay. Well,
One of the weird things from my childhood is when I was really young, like I want to say in between like the age of like 5 to 7, I had like a reoccurring nightmare about dancing vampire mimes. Like,
would they just dance?
Yeah, it was like in like an orange.
How did you even know about vampires or mimes?
I watched a lot of horror movies as a kid. My mom just let me watch a lot of R-rated stuff really young, which ties into one of the other things that I've got. But anyways, I don't know. I had a reoccurring nightmare about these dancing vampire mimes. They were in like an orange dance studio and they were dancing. I was somehow in there and I was like, wow, this is really fucking weird. And then they would stop dancing and then they would go like, and like try to eat me. I had that for about 2 years. It wasn't fun. It was really weird.
I remember I used to have a series of dreams, and it was like for a solid few weeks. It would always, like every single night, it would stop. It was like closing a book and then opening it back up and continuing where you left off. The dream just spanned over like 2 different weeks.
That's ideal.
It was interesting.
Do you have any tidbits from it or no?
Nope.
Oh.
I just remember that it happened, and I got sad when it stopped happening.
Oh God, this episode's a mess, guys. I'm sorry.
It's awful.
It's bad.
Another memory I have is I used to, even as a child, I was always a sad boy. And I remember distinctly I was at my grandma's house, who's dead. She's dead now.
Okay.
Nice. But I remember watching Oliver and Company, and I just remember sobbing my eyes out. And my parents were out to dinner, and I just wanted my mom.
I mean, I can't blame
I was like
you.
5.
Your mom's a great lady.
That's another, just one of those memories where I remember nothing else about any sort of period of time.
Just
but I remember
sobbing.
being really sad. Same thing with when I was like 8, maybe 9. It was like later on in life. I just remember being in a hotel and we were like getting ready for something, probably a dog show or something. And I just remember watching, I think it was The Land Before Time. That's the one with the dinosaurs and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Littlefoot's mom dying. I just remember sobbing for like probably fucking 40 minutes. It just broke me, man. I don't want your sushi. Get your sushi out of my room.
Hey, squishy, try one. Just one.
Is this real crab?
No.
No.
Oh my God, this is a fucking mess.
Try it. Please, master.
That sushi's so giant.
Did I do?
Oh God, it's got like wet sounds.
Did I do, master?
It's like some of the driest rice I've ever had in my life.
It's because it's steamed too long.
It doesn't sound right. It sounds disgusting. I can hear it.
I will eat it.
Oh God.
I'm so sorry.
This is.
Am I gonna be sick? Why is that crab so strong?
I'm going to punish.
Aren't you supposed to prepare the crab differently or something?
Sorry.
This is a mess.
This is my favorite episode.
This is the worst episode we've ever recorded. Oh my God.
There's gonna be a lot of editing to put this all
Yeah,
together.
you have sushi in your teeth.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-mm.
Brandon. Oh my God. So another weird thing that I'm just gonna keep going. Another weird thing that
I think Leah's not actually catching on to the point. This is another Eric Andre reference, but maybe this entire podcast is just, it's a giant plot for me to try and make you lose sanity. If you had a sanity bar like in the board games,
Oh, it's already gone.
it's pretty low.
It's already gone. But another weird thing that I did as a kid is like, you remember those like addition and like subtraction sheets that you got as a kid?
I think so.
Okay. But so anyways, we were learning addition and subtraction, and it would kind of like switch off every day, where we would have like an addition sheet to take home one day and then like a subtraction sheet to take home the other day. And then the teacher decided to like spice it up on us and have a page with both addition and subtraction. And me being the dumbass that I am, I plowed through it thinking all of it was addition. And instead of changing my answers and like fixing it, what I did is I went through and I made every single minus sign into a plus sign, and I turned it in like that. And the teacher still gave me credit because she thought it was hilarious.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
See, that's one of those things that it's like your creativity saved your ass.
Yeah, I'm so creative.
Exactly. Boom. Explosion.
Do you got a tidbit or no?
I could pull a few things from the singular line of action. I'll talk about that. See, it ties in. It ties in. Get your sushi out of here.
Master, I'm sorry.
But for several summers, my cousins, James and Wyland, used to come stay with us like the entire summer. Best buds in the world. Loved them. And we would just do like weird shit like hang out, play video games the entire summer, play like Monster Hunter on our PSPs and shit. But one of the things, like we would always for a certain week, Logan always had like an acting thing that he would do. Logan's my brother, and we would go up into the mountains because that's where the theater was at. And so we would just like camp out for the entire week, and we would do hikes up these mountains and shit. And there was this one time where we just like found this like fucking like shoestring out in the woods. We found enough of it for like 4 of us, and then we just started tying like these rocks. Like we tied up these rocks with them, and because the mountains were at like 60-degree angles sometimes, so we would need like ways to get up. So sometimes we would just like sling the rock up and over a tree and pull ourselves up. Probably was not safe at all. We fucking climbed so many mountains. It was sick. We also found a cool cat who followed us the whole time. Just a feral wild cat.
How are you not able to prepare anything for this episode? I want you to look me in the eyes right now, telling the 2 stories that you just told. And when I asked you if you had anything prepared,
I'm like, so like.
No, I said, look me in the eyes, motherfucker.
Can I look the camera in the eyes?
No.
I need to look them in the eyes. Like I said, I took a career aptitude test yesterday. Let's just say that organization stat, real low. Really, really bottom priority.
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay.
But instant thinking in the moment.
Great. I'm glad. I'm so glad.
I can't, like, plans ahead of 24 hours, maybe even 12 hours. 12 hours, yeah. 12 hours is about
2.
Wait, what?
I don't even think you can prepare 2 hours ahead of time.
All right, like 20 minutes, we're doing good.
Fuck you and your existence.
I can't help it. I
guess this one kind of more speaks to my...
Was I talking about the rocks? Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I was back on my train of thought. I really should be medicated, you know? Don't want to damage my precious, beautiful, wrinkly brain.
Okay. I'm having a great time. So I guess this one kind of speaks more to my mother than like me as a child. But the first concert I ever went to was an Alice in Chains concert, and I was 3 months old.
Was it rockin'?
Yeah, it was rocking. My mom's
Who was playing with them?
I don't fucking know. I was 3 months old.
Come on, you gotta remember these things.
I was 3 months old.
It's a big event in life.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, my mom's like a rocker biker chick. My mom's interesting.
Yeah, my first concert, because they happened like about the same time, and I can't remember which one came first, but I went and saw Toby Keith at the horse racing track up in the mountains near where we lived. The same one where we would climb rocks and shit. But also around that exact same time, I also saw Korn with Puddle of Mud and Linkin Park.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I definitely remember the Korn concert a lot more. Even though at the time I was way more of a Toby Keith guy.
How could you forget Korn?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It was loud.
It was loud. When I was real young and like learning to spell and stuff, I think maybe I'm just fucking stupid. I think that's what this is. But I used to spell the word of UV because like that's how it sounds.
That's what that note was supposed to be saying?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She showed me her notes before this podcast, and I saw that one, and I was just like, I don't know what the fuck this is. UV? I spelled UV like ultraviolet light as UV?
No, like I spelled of.
I mean, it makes sense because English is bad.
English isn't great.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, go for it.
Continuing on with some of those summers, we could talk about some of those summers. Those summers are like the only periods of time where I can actually like remember things very like that are weird potentially. We used to have this thing called a flying turtle. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of them.
What is a flying turtle?
But it was like this like little triangular like seat, and it had like the bars in front of it. Like you sat real low, so you sat on your butt, and then like the handlebars were like down where your feet would go, and you would grab these handlebars, and it's like if you like twisted it, you were able to like propel yourself forward.
Wait, are those like those little like square things that you sat on when like you were a kid?
Kind of, but way more elaborate.
Okay.
Because like I said, I mean, it had like a function in which like if you were to twist the handlebars, you were able to like propel yourself forward with it, and you could get decent speed. And what we would do is we would take that thing and we would like push each other max velocity as fast as we could run, and like shove them off and just like have them go like flying with the turtle. And eventually that itself wasn't enough action, so we started using the garden hose to water down the sidewalk and the pavement. We'd like put like cups and like rocks and shit, and we would like literally start hydroplaning on the water and skid around it. Shit was so fun.
That sounds awesome.
It was high intensity action.
So I guess I was gonna say this later, but that reminds me of that. So I am so coordinated. I'm just the most coordinated person you've ever met.
Yes.
I've cracked my chin open not once, not twice, not 3 times, but I have cracked my chin open on 4 separate occasions.
How do you even do that? I've never broken a bone or chipped anything. The only thing that's happened to me is have a tooth fall out of my head. Genetically, I got bad teeth. Doesn't matter how much I brush them.
I fall a lot.
Oh, really? Have you taken any falls recently, Leah? Would you like to share with the class?
Why are you roasting me like this?
You wanted a roast episode.
Okay, well, so this is not one of the times I cracked my chin open, but about a week ago, or a couple of days ago, actually, we were going to get some breakfast, and I was walking out my apartment stairs, and I got distracted because there was a really pretty dog. And I told Brandon, oh my god, look at the really pretty dog. And I was so distracted, I fell down the fucking stairs.
These were like outside stairs too, like outside an apartment where they got like jagged ass rocks and shit on them to help you have grip when you're walking.
It was concrete.
Yeah, but they got like the little rocks in them. Help you get traction. Shit had to hurt.
It did.
Fucking ripped your ankle open.
Yeah, so I'm not coordinated. But let me tell you about the 4 times that I've cracked my chin open. All were just as equally graceful as the next. The first time, I was learning how to ride a bike, and I kind of just did a front wheelie that just kind of kept going, and I landed right on my chin. KO. That's the first one. There was like a span of time where like, and for 2 years, all of the pictures that I was in, I either had stitches or like bandages on my chin because I cracked it open so frequently. But another time was on those little square things, like from like kindergarten and like preschool and shit, where you sat your butt on them and you scooted them around. We were playing on those. I ate shit. And
how do you eat shit enough to where you actually like break your jaw open a little bit though?
I don't know.
Like you're already that low to the ground.
I just have a lot of momentum, I guess. So yeah, I cracked my chin open another time that way. Third time, I was on the swing set and a teacher was pushing me on the swings because I wanted them to. And I somehow fell. I didn't jump. I fell out of the swing set. And I landed on concrete on my chin. And then the 4th and final time, I hate so much. Because it was probably a couple of weeks after I had gotten like the stitches out and all of that from like the previous time I cracked my chin open, because it was a frequent occurrence. But I had gotten like those light up sneakers and I felt like such hot shit. So I was running around in a parking lot, and verbatim, my mom yells at me. She's like, Leah, stop running. You're going to crack your chin open. Like, verbatim. She tells me not to do this so I don't crack open my chin. And, like, mid-sentence, as I'm telling her, like, fuck off, bitch. Like, I'm not gonna fall. As I'm yelling, no, I'm not. I just face plant and I crack my chin open for the final time.
How mad was your mom?
Oh, my mom was so mad.
Jesus.
She was furious. Like, I had probably gotten, like, the stitches and everything out from the last one, like, 2 weeks beforehand.
Jesus.
My chin's real.
Remember Heelys?
Yeah, I loved Heelys.
Heelys were lit, dude.
I loved Heelys. I don't know how I didn't crack my chin open on Heelys.
Yeah, how were you coordinated enough to, like... I ate shit so many times on Heelys.
I don't know. I can Heely, I can longboard, and I can skateboard. Somehow, I've never eaten shit, like... On
the whole walking thing, though.
The whole walking thing. It's just,
it's a lot. It's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of muscles involved. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
So continuing more stories from that summer with like the flying turtle and shit. There was so a lot of the nights, like if the weather was good enough or anything like that, even a couple nights where it wasn't, we had a trampoline out back and we would just sleep on the trampoline. With some of the dogs, just because I mean. It was a little bit sketchy of a neighborhood, but like as long as we had the Dobermans with us, we were good. So we would sleep out there and we would like just hang out, look at the stars, because I didn't live in that big of a city. So, I mean, you could actually see a good amount of the stars. But I specifically remember one night we were like stargazing, and right before like falling asleep, we all just saw this like huge like flash of light explosion.
What?
In the sky. Just like it probably like covered about like
did you guys eat
a tenth of the sky. No, we were like 11.
Are you sure you didn't eat some random mushrooms you found while you were hiking up the mountain?
Yeah, no. And I mean, of course, too, it's Roswell, so I mean, aliens and shit. So I don't know if like a satellite exploded or what the fuck happened, or if it was a supernova that we just so happened to watch like galaxies away, but it was a huge fucking flashlight. Took like a tenth of the sky, was super bright, lasted about like 2 to 3 seconds, and then it was gone.
Cool.
It was lit.
That's pretty fun.
It was pretty dang lit. There was also a couple of nights on that trampoline where I specifically remember, so everyone had like their own sleeping bags, but I had just like gotten like this like I think it was like from Goodwill or something. I don't remember where we got it, but it was like a mummy bag. So like a really nice, like, you know, you can tighten yourself up and it's really cozy and
hell yeah,
tight and all that stuff. But everyone else had like, you know, like regular ass sleeping bag, like for kids, or like a couple cloth ones that we had. One night, I'm like, I am snoozing away. I am so comfy. Mm-hmm. And suddenly I just feel like a pushing on my side. Someone's waking me up. So I wake up. I'm like kind of nestled down inside my sleeping bag. And then I just hear a downpour of rain. I am perfectly dry and warm inside my perfect little sleeping bag, and everyone else is fucking soaked. There's lightning everywhere. It's going insane, and they're just like, we need to get the fuck inside. I was just like, nah. But I'm so warm and dry in here.
Why would I leave?
Exactly. But yeah, that was one of my fondest memories, was waking up to everybody soaked and like just hating everything, and me just being like, I'm feeling good, fam.
So this is probably one of the most disgusting things I will admit to ever doing in my life.
I had a disgusting thing. I don't remember what it is.
It's okay. Maybe this will remind you. But when I was a kid, and whenever I was like losing teeth, like as soon as I felt that they were loose, instead of like, you know, doing the weird like kid like blah, 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 and like, or just waiting for it to like be good to pull out, my disgusting ass, my solution to absolutely all of my loose teeth, as soon as I felt that they were loose, because like I don't know if it's like maybe it's just a Jewish thing or whatever, but there were always milk duds at my grandparents' house, and I would open up a pack of milk duds, I would eat them, and it would yank my fucking teeth out for me, and I would pull out my teeth and then eat the rest of the milk dud.
I was that disgusting kid that would just let the thing fucking dangle by a string of nerve ending until eventually it just fell out.
I don't know. I think mine might be a little bit grosser.
I pulled crowns out of my mouth with granola bars. Unintentionally. Made me the big sad. It's expensive to replace a crown.
I've never had a cavity and I never fucking want one.
They're pretty awful. I've never had a painful one, but I have had to like deal with them. It sucks. What was oh yeah. I remember in elementary school, we had some sandboxes out back, and that was like my friends and I, like we would always be like digging in the sand and whatever. Like that is what we did at lunchtime, whatever recess. We'd just go play in the fucking sand. And I always distinctly remember, like at the time, like you're so naive and stupid and shit that you would occasionally find like these like slightly harder like lumps of sand down where the sand was a little bit wetter. We always called it clay.
Yeah, I
that
think
shit,
every kid did.
Yeah, it's cat shit.
Nice.
It's straight up cat shit. We used to play with that shit all the fucking time. Sculpt it. It's disgusting to look back on and just be like, wow, children are disgusting.
Yeah, they're real gross.
Disgusting creatures.
Real nasty.
But yeah, that's what reminded me, my disgusting fucking memory of that.
That's nasty.
It's pretty sick. I also remember this time that I think I was, we were running around doing whatever. I had slightly better vision at the time, but I still couldn't see that well. But I had like recently had gotten glasses, like somewhere in that school year, I think maybe the previous school year. So I was probably like in like 3rd grade. I distinctly remember, I think I was sliding down a slide or something. Something happened and I broke my glasses. And I was just like devastated. And I was like, just didn't know what they would do. I knew they were kind of expensive to have. And I was like freaking out. And I just remember trying to tell my mom about it when I finally like got out of school. And I just like sobbed. And my mom was just laughing at me because she was like, you're fine. You're okay. But I'd like for hours until pickup, I had been like dreading it. I was just like,
poor baby.
Oh. I was a crybaby, man. Up until probably like, I don't know, later middle school, early high school. Like that's all. I was just cry all the
poor
fucking
baby,
time.
No.
I was known as a crybaby.
So one of the times when I broke many bones in my body, on just one go.
What's it like to break a bone?
Ow.
It's not fun at all?
No. Especially not this story, because let me hit you with it. I know you've heard this one, but I'm gonna go into detail. So I was extremely antisocial as a kid, still antisocial now, and I also had an immense fear of horses. So my mother's solution was, you're gonna go to a sleepaway camp, and they have.
What's a sleepaway camp?
Did you never go to like a sleepaway?
No, I never went to camp.
Okay, it's
like I said, I hung out with my cousins all summer.
I don't know, your parents ship you off for like a week and you camp with other kids around your same age and you do activities.
Sounds stupid.
Yeah, it was real dumb. But so
Christian band camp.
Oh, my family is Jewish. My mom always sent me to the YMCA, and like every morning they would have this weird like Jesus chant, and I was like, "What?
I've been to many a Christian school.
What is this?" It was real weird, and I just sat there like the awkward Jew that I was. But so, anyways, went to horse camp. I begged my mom. I was like, "Please, no, let me be alone. I don't want to talk to people, and I definitely don't want to be anywhere near horses." She's like, "No, fuck you, you little shit. You're going."
Mom needs a vacation.
Mom's tired of your shit. And so she ships me off. And the first time I get on the fucking horse, and you know what? If anybody tells, do you mind? If anybody tells me that bullshit that horses are sensitive to emotion and can feel your fear, fuck that. I don't give a fuck. I got thrown off, and there was a tree behind me, so my back hit the tree, and then I essentially just kind of fell totally on my right side. I broke my pinky, which is why I can do this weird shit with it. I broke my wrist, I broke one of the bones in my arm, I dislocated my shoulder, and I broke my collarbone. And for some reason, I can't remember the justification why, but for some reason, it was a liability or something like that, where the camp could not call an ambulance for me. They could not take me to the hospital. And this was like in Prescott.
Yikes.
And it was at like 2 p.m. So they literally had, because we were on like a trail.
Yeah.
They had to pick me up because I was so broken I couldn't get back on the horse myself. They had to pick me up, put me back on the horse that had kicked me off. And let me tell you, a horse ride is not fucking smooth. I could feel absolutely every movement. It was agonizing. And then I had to wait in like the nurse's office or whatever.
Did she put a Band-Aid on you?
She did not. Or I think she helped me get the splinters out of my back, so that was pretty lit. But
at least you didn't land in a cholla, right?
Yeah, right. That would fucking suck. But I had to sit there for like 4 fucking hours while I had to wait for my mom to come pick me up, and then we had to go to the nearest hospital, which was like a 30-minute drive. It wasn't fun. I still fucking hate horses. I hate horses more now than I did before. She should have just let me not go.
I've gone horseback riding like a couple of times. I think I've been like, it's like probably like a total of 5 times. And I remember distinctly the last time I went, because I'm doing some like, what's it called? Canter kind of stuff.
I don't like horses. I don't know anything about them.
I don't know. They have like 3 or 4 different types of gait. But the last time I had gone, I was dating a girl at the time who was very into horses. And
do I know this person?
Yes, you do.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
But I had gone for like some ecology thing. I was studying wildlife shit at the time, and we had gone to this like, what are they called? It's a something ranch, a dude ranch or something. Yeah, I think it's a dude ranch, I think is what it's called. Okay. But they had a bunch of horses and stuff, and we did some activities there. We did some ecology, like, observation, but I thought that the camp was, like, super cool, like, super cozy, and it was. Like, that place was lit. Like, hell yeah, would 10 out of 10 go back. Super nice cabins. Very romantic. But I remember one of the days I had booked, like, horse riding, whatever, to do, like, some trails and just go up the Colorado mountains and shit. And it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. I kind of got stuck with like a real bitchy horse. Like she was a real jackass of a mare. Like she was a bitch. And I remember too, like I'd ridden like a couple of times, like I said, and it was always like trail, like touristy shit where you're not really doing anything. Mm-hmm. And it was just me and my girlfriend at the time, and then our instructor lady, and she was talking, they were talking, and then suddenly she was just like, you guys seem to know what you're doing. Let's gallop through the fields. Let's gallop through the fields. Fucking horse takes off. Oh, no. I'll tell you what, it was real exhilarating. But it struck me in the same exact place. I've gone tubing once, like where you pull a tube behind the boat on a lake or whatever. It was that same exact clutching fear that I did not like get bucked off or anything. And that shit was rough. I had no idea what was going on. Like I eventually kind of got into the rhythm of it, but it was so fucking terrifying. I remember once we were done with that, I was like, yo, I'm good on that. I'm not that comfortable. And they're like, okay, we're good. But I distinctly, we were walking like through these mountain trails, and in one of them, God, this bitch, she would always just walk the fuck over, and she would find trees that she fit under. And she knew I was just gonna go into the fucking branches. I'm wearing like a nice jacket too. And she's like, yeah, bitch, you're getting off my ass. And I'm like, bitch, no, I ain't. I'm just going through these fucking trees. God damn. She tried to rub me off on, I think, about 5 different trees. And the instructor was like, wow, she's being a real bitch. Yes. She's on one today. Fuck.
This is more of kind of an innocent one, but me just being a fucking shithead. I don't like peanuts. I don't like peanut butter. I don't know why. It's just I don't like it. It's nasty.
They're not that great.
They're not that great. They're fucking nasty. But there was like not a sleepaway camp, but like a summer like camp where your parents send you to like spend the day, you know. So they
I don't know. I'm sure people listening do, though.
Ass. But anyways, it's like, you know, schools have them and whatever, and you just stay there so your parents go to work. And I convinced every single one of the counselors, because like there was always like peanut snacks that they would give you. I convinced absolutely all of them that I was allergic to peanuts, so I didn't have to eat them, and I got graham crackers instead, and it was great.
Yeah,
like
that's
peanuts.
another one of those notes where I think your note in your notes is like, convinced counselor that I'm like allergic to peanuts. I was like, why would you like convince your therapist that you're allergic to peanuts? Like, what do you benefit from this? It's another one of those notes where I was just like, I don't know. I guess we'll hear it.
I'm just real sad, and I'm sad because I'm allergic to peanuts.
That sadness, man, it really cuts deep.
It was real deep.
Trying to think of anything else that was weird. I don't know.
Because
see, the thing is, I feel like my biggest issue when we were preparing for this episode. Well, quotation, we're talking about it. Beforehand, is that in general, I am just, I do things, man. I don't have like much of a filter. If I want to do something, no matter how weird it is, I don't really get embarrassed by shit. So I do weird shit all the time. So trying to figure out weird shit that I did as a kid, sometimes it's hard for me in retrospect to figure out what was weird and what's like not.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Sure. When I was a kid, I watched a bunch of horror movies, like really, really young. Like
I watched Sailor Moon. We've talked about that though. Different episode.
Okay.
Go on.
But I watched like a bunch of horror movies. I love horror, as anybody who has listened to more than one episode of this podcast can figure the fuck out. And I watched a bunch, like really, really young, like hard R-rated horror movies.
You can't say the hard R. Cut that out.
R.
Edit it out.
I wasn't scared of any of them. Like, I loved absolutely all of them. But for some reason, the only horror movie I was scared of, one, it's kid-friendly. Two, it's also kind of a fucking comedy, is Gremlins. I was terrified as Gremlins as a kid. And that's just fucking embarrassing.
I've never seen it.
I don't really, like, remember too much from it. I just know that I was scared and I didn't like it. And I've been meaning to rewatch it, but I just don't think I could sit with the shame of rewatching it and, like, seeing how actually stupid it is and just knowing I was terrified of that movie.
I'm a scaredy cat baby. That's it. Did you ever get scared at the THX logo?
No.
Every time that THX logo would come in with a, I'd always either hide behind the couch, I'd either close my eyes and cover my ears because I didn't want to hear or see it. It just brought me so much fear and anxiety. For years.
I can kind of get it, but also at the same time, not at all. Okay. Another fun story that I have from my childhood. This one's kind of fucked up. So, it's not as fucked up as we could get, though, but I'm not gonna go that deep. In the fourth
Call the police.
In the fourth grade, I can't remember what it was exactly, but, like, we made a bunch of, like, short stories throughout the years, and, like, the school or like the class or the teacher or whatever made them into like books. Like it was a hardcover, it was printed, it was all nice. Like it was basically like our big end of the year project as we were working on it throughout the whole year. And of course, you know, it's one of the moms that ends up like printing out the books and all of that and then like giving it to the class. And so they give it back to us and like they tell us to like read it over, make sure everything's good, blah, 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 blah. And like make any revisions if we need it before we get like the final copies or whatever. And so I start reading mine and it was just, what are you doing?
I remembered my first grade teacher's name, and my mom was asking about it the other day, and for some reason, I have to write it down before I forget.
Okay.
Do go on.
But so yeah, we got like this final copy back and she told us to like read over it, blah, 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 blah. Like it was basically the finished pages. Like they just needed to put it in a hardcover at that point. And I start reading through the stories and I realize this ain't mine.
Oh.
This is not mine. But of course, being the fucking dumbass kid that I was, instead of going up to the teacher and just being like, hey, this isn't mine, the stories aren't right, because we were supposed to revise it, I just put an X, like a giant X, through every single page, because it wasn't mine. And when I turned it in, the teacher was so fucking pissed at me. She yelled at me, like not even like oh
dang,
you're in trouble with the teacher, like oh this teacher is yelling at a kid. And she was yelling at me. She was calling me a stupid fucking liar for not knowing what I wrote and all of that. And guess what? Shit wasn't mine. You want to know how I fucking know? It was talking about a trip I went on with my dad. Heads up, I don't fucking have one. Like, it's not mine, bitch. And like,
you were just making it up. You were imagining what it would be like if you did have a dad in your life.
Sure, I guess. But so the mom who had like printed this out, she realizes it was her mistake and like printed one kid's thing twice and like put my name on it or whatever. And like she came over to my house because like she was friends with my mom like later that night, and she was like, so and so, because I'm not gonna say their name, told me like what happened in class, and I'm so sorry. She brought me a basket of chocolates because this teacher was so mean to me. It was great, and I never got a fucking apology from that teacher. She was
my 5th grade teacher was like that. Literally singled me out, bullied me the entire school year, and I believe now they're the superintendent of that school district.
Terrifying.
Pretty awful. He's pretty awful. Fuck. I remember, I don't know why, I think he said 4th grade. In 4th grade, we used to have a pianist like come in and we would all sing songs as a class. And every single time it was my time to choose a song, I'd always choose Puff the Magic Dragon. I love that song.
You. That's great.
Fuck. I was trying to remember something else though, because I had something and then I got distracted by my 1st grade teacher's name. And then also my 4th grade teacher, Miss Zimmerman. I don't know why I'm like remembering their names, but it's like there.
Should we? But I had something else. Her name or? I feel like
I'm sure there's plenty of Zimmermans out there in the world.
It's a common name.
But she was pretty rad. I mean, she got a pianist to come into the school, and like that wasn't a school thing. It was literally her. She's like, I like music. You guys should like learn some music. Let's sing. It was like every Thursday or some shit.
Nice. Did you guys ever have classroom pets?
Maybe once. Maybe. I don't think so though.
I didn't have one either.
I don't know. I lived in small towns, man.
So I know that you're not gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about because you've been to weird fucking schools.
I have been to weird fucking schools.
But
Christian school like fucking blows, man.
And I think most public schools, especially around the time that we were growing up, there was a lovely, magical, mystical thing called AR.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have it? You know what I'm talking about?
Advanced reading or whatever?
Accelerated reading.
Accelerated reading. And you would have like levels of books and then you'd quiz on it and you had to read so many books.
Yeah. So I don't know if you had this problem, but my reading level was very, very high. So
mine was kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So every single quarter, like your AR points would reset, and based on your reading level, you would have to achieve a certain amount of points to meet your requirements. And one, like, just fuck this system, because like the people with bad reading only had to get like 10 points. Meanwhile, with like good reading, I had to get like 500.
Gotta read the entire series of unfortunate events.
I did. It was great, but you want to know what else I had to fucking read? I had to read Twilight, because those books were so thick and they were so many AR points, I couldn't justify not reading them.
See, we did AR, I think, all the way up until like, maybe like, we didn't do it in the mountain town. So like 5th grade was out, but like all throughout like 1 through 4, and then I think in 6th grade it had it.
Yeah,
it stopped after that.
Yeah, I think mine stopped in 6th grade as well. But like, I think
you youngins having Twilight in 6th grade, children.
You're 2 years older than me. Chill out.
Dab.
But so I ended up reading Gone with the Wind as well.
That's a book?
It is a book. Do you want to know how many pages are in that book? I think it's like 2,000. It's a big fucking book.
Aragon.
Oh God, I know I've read those books, but I can't remember if they're terrible or not.
Aragon?
Because I hated the movie so much.
Aragon, super good. And whatever the next one, okay. The one that followed it up, the 3rd one, I got halfway through it and I got bored. The 4th one came out and I bought it and never read it. So like Aragon, the first one, super great. Everything else, I didn't really give a shit.
So many books as a kid because like I fucking had to, and I don't.
Did you read the Warriors books?
I think I read a handful, and then I was like, I don't like this, so I stopped. Because like they were only like 20 points an AR, and I was like, not worth it. Not worth my time.
I don't know why. Like I just wanted to like Eric Andre style, just like.
Do it.
I don't remember if I read it initially for AR points or if I just really wanted to read it, but The Sight fell. That's 2 good books by David Matthew Clements. He also wrote like Firebringer, which was about like the deer. The Sight and Fell were about wolves, of course. Very, very good. But they were good, man. They were good.
So I guess we're just gonna shoot shit.
I was in the gifted program. Did you know that? I was one of those gifted kids.
Yeah.
Where I got put into like a separate classroom of like 4 kids.
Yeah, I was as well. It was weird.
Interesting.
I don't know why they did that.
I mean, it was kind of nice because like it depends on like if the first school I went to that had it, they did it like right. Like when I was in like 3rd, 4th grade era, like that you would go in that class and they'd literally be like, we want you to do this project, but like go at it. Just like we'll give you guidance, but like learn about it yourselves, like kind of like free form learn and like critically think to like get to your solutions and stuff like that. And so that was like super good. And then when I went back, when they had it in like 6th grade or something at a different school in Texas, it was just like advanced classes. And I was just like, this is stupid. Or it had like higher benchmarks or things like that. I was like, this is dumb. No thanks.
Yeah. In high school, I took classes a year ahead of mine, but I wasn't in AP, and it was fucking great. Cause like I still was like a year ahead, but I like didn't have to deal with like the stress of AP. So I felt like I just kind of like wiggled that out just right, you know?
I went to one of those funnel little, what are they called? What kind of school is that? It starts with a C. Charter school.
Yeah.
And it was attached. Yeah, it was It was connected to a community college. So starting in like 9th grade, I started taking college classes. Like my first ever college class was stage combat, and I'm like 15 or something like that. And I learned how to do fencing, how to fake disarms and feign certain sorts of sword skills. So it was like really neat because it was like straight up a fencing class with like extra things put into it to like add lavish and add to the mirage. So it was really neat. You also learned how to like throw yourself to the floor and not hurt yourself. Things like that. So I was able to
teach me that?
No.
Okay.
You're a lost cause. But I do remember in my final year, so like I was really good at biology kind of stuff, like sciences.
I love biology.
Like, so and I think I had like a 98 in my bio class. Yeah, I think I was the top student out of all these fucking college kids that were like, I don't know, fucking 6 to 10 years older than me. And my teacher, so every, I think it was like directly afterwards, she would pick like one of the top kids and you would become like the intern for the labs of those classes. So there's little like 16, 17-year-old me teaching college kids how to do science.
Oh no.
And I would always feel like really awkward about it because I'm like, these people are like 10 years older than me. And I know more about this subject and I have to actually teach them. That was like my first true like ever teaching thing I ever did. It was weird.
Like,
but she was like super like supportive of it. And it was actually like a really cool experience. This is like less a weird kid thing, but it was more just like just one of those weird moments of life where you're just like, what the fuck is happening? And you start to like take off the guise of adults know what the fuck is going on because they really fucking don't.
No.
They don't. I also have a distinct memory too. I think it was my second semester of those community college classes. Like I always, especially in high school, like I had really long hair and like, actually it's not as long as it is now, but like it was really curly and like poofy and it almost made me look like I had a fucking mushroom head. Like I straight up can't describe it other ways. Like it was really bad hair and I was like really hippie. I always wore like tie-dye wolf shirts, really baggy jeans and shit. Like I wanted to intentionally look as fucking ratty as possible. And I was like straight edge. I didn't do anything. But I remember strictly going into one of my classes, and there was one of the kids that was sitting next to me in my Spanish class, and we were all waiting for the teacher to get in there, and he's just like, "Tell me about you." Like he was actually another high schooler kid, but he was like asking me if I like smoked, drank, did any of that kind of stuff, and we were talking about it. And I was telling him like no, and he's just like, "See, that's the weird thing though, is because you look like the biggest fucking stoner in the goddamn world. Like you look fucked up." And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's just, I want to do my own thing.
It's my aesthetic.
It is my aesthetic. And then he looked at one of the college kids. He was like 23, had a fucking like really short cut hair, well styled. He wore button up shirts every class. Like he looked really fucking professional.
Boy was
and he was like, "Bro, how much fucking weed do you smoke?" And he's like, "Bro, I'd fucking take like half a milk jug at least like 3 times a day and I fucking rip those gravity bongs." And they just started talking about the best ways to chill your weed and like get the smoke in the fridge and shit. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like I had never even seen weed. Like I was just like, these straight ass looking kids fucking over here being hoodlums. Meanwhile, I'm the one getting ratted on because I look like garbage.
I feel that.
I was all about it though. I didn't really give a shit. I strictly remember one of the houses that I lived in Texas. We had a swimming pool and it was kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Fucking skinny dipping was lit, bro.
Hell yeah. Skinny dipping was lit. Why don't people skinny dip anymore?
I think they do. I think they do. We just like don't party and shit.
Well,
also I think it's more of like, I don't know. It's like, I always strike it as more of like a Midwestern like kind of thing. You don't see it as much in this area.
I don't know. For me specifically, I don't know why I'm talking about this right now, but like I live in an apartment complex, so like the pools are public. Maybe that has something to do with it. I never go to the pools because the pools are public. It's weird. I don't like seeing people. Yeah,
I feel like at like private pools and stuff. Yeah, for sure. It's your own pool. As long as you don't have neighbors stacked on top of you that can fucking see into your yard. I'm sure people do it all the fucking time. You know why?
Give them a show.
Because that shit's lit.
Give them a show.
No, I do remember another story. This is more high school, so I guess it's like less as a kid. It's more in that, you know, weird young adult, adolescent stage, whatever. But I remember that we were at a friend's house and it was like in the middle of winter. They live out in the fucking middle of nowhere, so it got real cold. The desert gets really cold as long as you're not inside the city in the wintertime at night. So we were chilling in the hot tub and it's probably like 30 degrees outside, if that. And we get the bright ass fucking idea to like, hey, let's go hop in the fucking pool. Like just jump in at the deep end and you have to swim to the fucking shallow end. Bitch, I hit the water and overall I'm not a strong swimmer overall, but like it knocked the wind out of me how fucking cold it was. Like it shocked, my body went like the shock.
Hypothermia is a thing.
It was so, well, I mean, you wouldn't get it that quickly. Hypothermia takes a bit to set in, but it was like it still just like shocked my body so hard and I like really struggled to swim to the fucking shallow end. It was terrifying.
Oh god.
Got right back in that fucking hot tub though, and it was the best.
Okay. Interesting.
Just a weird tidbit story.
One thing that fucking pissed me off as a kid. So there was this really fucking weird girl in my school. And weirder than me. Real weird. And, you know, I was kind of sort of friends with her, but not really, just because, like, nobody else was and she wouldn't leave me alone kind of deal. And I remember one time, because she had two dads, her dads were like, oh, let's go camping in Prescott and whatever, and, like, they invited me, and I went, and I get home, and I have fucking lice. So obviously, I got it from that girl. You know, my mom reached out and was like, hey, your kid probably has lice. My kid has lice, da-da-da-da-da-da. And the dad's responses were, oh, yeah, no, we know. You let me go camping with your kid? You didn't tell me she had lice. You let me get lice? Fuck you! That shit's annoying to deal with. It's the one and only time I've ever had lice, and I'm fucking pissed about it still to this day.
I've never had to go through that.
It's not fun.
I had a story.
Okay.
Where did it go?
I don't know. Where did it go, Brandon?
6th grade.
Here it is.
Here it is. Back in Texas. I remember towards the end of the 6th grade year, it's kind of like the end of like elementary school, whatever. And they had like some sort of like dance thing, and, you know, kids go, you do whatever the fuck. But I remember getting asked out for the first time ever by this girl in 6th grade. And like, I didn't know how to respond other than like a straight face was just like, I'm sorry, but no. Like, and then I straight up asked her, I was like, we're in 6th grade. Like, what are we going to do? You want to like hold hands in the lunchroom? Like,
That's
to me, I was
exactly
just
what
like,
she wanted.
yeah, but I was just like, I mean, it's not like we could drive. It's not like we could do anything. Like, I was just like, this sounds like so much work for so like little to get. Like, to me, I was just like, this is stupid. And I straight up told her no. I was like, no, like, God, like, props to like 6th grade me for just having their fucking head on straight and just being like, hey, like, even without even knowing that it's like a lot of work or anything, I was just like, what does it do? What does it change?
How does this benefit me?
Exactly. It doesn't. And so I was just like, no, I'm good. Like, I said it a little nicer than that and stuff like that. And she was real heartbroken over it. But I was just like, in my head, I'm just like, what? And I even told my mom right afterwards, because I was just like, what is the deal with dating in elementary school? You ain't gonna do shit.
Boomer.
I don't know. That was just, call me old fashioned. But yeah, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good, fam.
I remember there was this one kid in my school. His name was Luke. Obviously.
It's always a Luke.
And my name is Leah. And we both like Star Wars, and we had the same birthday. So, for some reason, my teacher...
Meant to be.
Meant to be. My teacher just, like, tried to hook us up. It was, like, in the 4th grade, too. It was real weird.
Does your teacher realize that they're trying to hook up siblings?
Twins.
Twins. We're just gonna fucking... Like, straight up, too. Twins, same birthday, same age.
Yeah, but that's
it all weird, connected.
Yeah, that's a real weird coincidence. Also, fun fact, I don't really...
Is it a coincidence? Or is your father out there slaying the galaxy and you need to go fucking stop him?
Probably.
Fuck, what are you doing recording this podcast then?
Shit, I gotta go. Also, fun fact, neither, like, I don't really know my dad, but, like, I know neither of my parents didn't really like Star Wars. So, one, why they chose to name me Leah, which so many people get confused with Leia, because it can kind of go either way. And then, two, how much I love Star Wars just doesn't make sense. Like, literally, as a kid, I convinced my mom to just, like, take me to Blockbusters, like, days upon days upon days in a row, and, like, I would just rent Star Wars.
Fucking Blockbuster. Hastings. That's like, I don't even know if it's a weird thing, but fuck. Renting video games from places like that, and you get to play them for a week. I think that's where I got pretty good at video games, because I knew I'd have to beat them in like
a certain amount of time.
And I remember the fastest game I ever defeated or got through, I think was
defeated.
It took me 4.5 hours to beat Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Oh, I love the Harry Potter games. I wish they were still a thing.
They were pretty neat.
Yeah, I wanted to play them again, but I don't have a console and I don't have the games, like, because they clearly don't make them for, like, PS4s. Like, you can't get them anymore.
Some of them you probably can.
No, you can't.
A lot of games are, like, backwards compatibility. And also, now, you've got a computer, so there's this thing called ROM emulators.
True.
So all you need is a fucking controller.
You got a point.
Go achieve your dreams.
I fucking will. Like, I downloaded Lego Harry Potter earlier this year just so I could, like, play a Harry Potter video game. It's not the same.
No, those OG, like, Harry Potter games, they were so janky as fuck, but, like, they're pretty neat.
You want to know what I want in my life? Like, what would absolutely just, like, fulfill my dreams is I want, like, a Harry Potter video game, but it's like World of Warcraft. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an RPG, open
Wizards
world.
101.
Yeah, no.
Wizards 101.
No, that shit sucks. I just want to be able to go to Hogwarts and go to school and learn magic.
I'm actually a little surprised they haven't done something like that. It makes sense.
It would make so much fucking money.
They've probably proposed it, honestly, and JK probably, like, shot that shit down.
JK, why do you have to fucking ruin my life?
It's just what she does.
Raise your hand if you feel personally attacked by JK Rowling. Okay, we're good.
You've done this. Thank you. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. It's like...
How are you liking Eric Andre now that I made you watch it? Is it the best?
It's good. If I watch it, though, like, it taints the rest of my day with chaotic energy.
Yeah. I feel that.
In a good way. Bird up.
Bird up.
Burr, 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 burr. Just don't look at me. It's like I'm not even here.
Well...
This episode was a mess, but it could have been messier. It actually got semi on the rails there after it started. I hated it.
It could have been worse.
My favorite part of this episode was the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was my least favorite.
You're no fun. So next week we're continuing the Necromancer, right?
No, I'm not there yet. I've been hurt too many times before. I need at least like 2 more weeks of just like good, peaceful content that doesn't like mentally hurt me.
We could go read a My Little Pony fanfic.
That's gonna also mentally hurt me. I don't like
We gotta
horses.
save Equestria.
I don't like horses.
They're ponies.
Brandon.
It's Equestria.
We're not doing that.
They're Pegasuses and unicorns.
And we'll see you guys next week. Check out the podcast and follow us or like us wherever the fuck you listen. Subscribe, review, because it's a fun time. We'll see you guys next week. And we're not going to be doing the Necromancer or saving Equestria.
You singing?
I don't know.
Is it a rap? It doesn't rhyme. Who killed Hannibal?
Who did kill Hannibal? Many people. Okay. Bye, guys. This has been enough. I'm sorry.